Well, my biggest issue is he lies a lot, and he's probably...
Well, certainly not more than Trump.
Oh,
please.
Is that he's mentally compromised. I think there's something wrong, and I think it's clear.
As if the other guy isn't.
Well, okay, he speaks much clearer.
He
He's a
is
sociopath.
crazy. He's crazy and stupid.
Say all those things. It still doesn't take away from the fact that there's something wrong with Biden. Both of them could die at any minute now.
Yeah, I'll give you this point. He's a city roach. He eat the worst things he eats, the stronger he gets.
Combine a clinical case of malignant narcissism with forgery, conspiracy, and the solicitation of an oath breach by a public authority, and what do you get? That is, in fact, Donald J. Trump. Bill Maher ripped out the former president for his dangerous delusions and unlawful deeds on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he didn't hold back. Maher accuses Trump of everything from criminal intent to obscure to forgery regarding the fake slate of electors. The comedian is leveling a grave charge, and Maher doesn't end there. After closely analyzing Trump's post-election antics, he accuses him of trying every possible way to steal this election. Maher paints a picture of a man who will stop at nothing to maintain his position of authority, threatening Mike Pence, intimidating state legislatures and courts, and even attempting to use the army. The most serious accusation.
I mean, I agree. Biden is not a great president. And the Hunter Biden stuff is a stinky conspiracy, not a conspiracy, a stinky scandal. They talked about using the army. I mean, you can't really believe that this guy is not worse than Joe Biden.
Trump, according to Maher, has not yet conceded to the election's outcome, which he plainly lost. Despite being warned he was defeated by Bill Barr and other members of his inner circle, Trump refuses to accept reality. It's a sign of his malignant narcissism, a mental disorder that impairs judgment and makes him vulnerable to praise from foreign leaders, according to Maher. Maher believes that the main distinction between Trump and Biden is more than the latter's inadequacy as a public servant. Although Biden may not be flawless, how does he stack up against the crazy, stupid criminal that is Trump? There's no rivalry. According to Maher, Trump is a genuine threat, a dangerous guy whose actions are now against the law.
But he's a criminal, and he's crazy, and he's stupid. And crazy and stupid are two different things. Crazy is like, it's important that the crowd at my inauguration was the biggest ever. Stupid is like Frederick Douglass is alive, or the stealth bomber is literally invisible. That's just stupid. He's very stupid.
Of course, you want to know how Donald Trump responded to Bill Maher's harsh critique on Joe Rogan's podcast. Watch with amazement as the self-described very stable genius expressed annoyance at being called crazy and stupid. Trump undoubtedly responded to Maher with his customary tirade of insults, dodging inquiries, and self-aggrandizement via his personal platform, Truth Social. Always willing to take on a battle, Trump probably painted Maher as simply another deceitful leftist out to harm him. He has been playing the victim for years, accusing everybody who disagrees with him of being a part of a vast left-wing conspiracy. It's a surefire way to enrage his fans and keep them solidly in his corner. The issue is that Trump has only demonstrated his narcissistic fragility and his incapacity to accept reality by taking offense at Maher.
It's actually in the big book of crazy, you know, that...
Right.
I mean, it's a real thing, and it affects everything he thinks and does. I always said this in the beginning. It all comes back to he is a clinical case of malignant narcissism.
It's like seeing a toddler scream because they're not getting their way. Nuclear codes and millions of loyal followers are exclusive to this baby. The broader implications of Trump's action are extremely harmful. It deepens the already pronounced rift in the country, making meaningful dialogue all but impossible. When the former leader of the free world cannot admit he lost a fair and square election, how can we expect his supporters to accept reality? Our democracy is being destroyed like a cancer by Trump's never-ending battle of retaliation and denial. It spreads via social media, tainting the minds of those who embrace his alternate reality. Furthermore, as Trump prepares to run for re-election in 2024, the illness may spread even further. Now let us return to Bill Maher. His unyielding condemnation of Trump on Rogan's podcast served as a much-needed reality check. He revealed the danger and silliness of Trump's actions, such as his reckless handling of private information and his worries about the number of people attending the inauguration. Maher doesn't hesitate to call a spade, even if doing so infuriates the MAGA mob. What effect effect will these indictments have on Trump's 2024 campaign? Folks, that doesn't seem good. Maher's assessment that Trump's potential re-election would pose a serious threat to our democracy is understandable. This individual has a poisonous narcissism that permeates his ideas and deeds. Imagine foreign leaders manipulating him with a little flattery. The outcome might be highly problematic for the security of our nation. The key thing is this, though. Despite the tremendous weight of evidence against him, Trump will not back down. He has been informed by many people, including his own former attorney general, that he did not win the 2020 election on the basis of merit. But does he pay attention?
And he admitted, one of his quotes was that they have on record of him saying, I don't want people to know I lost this election. First of all, that was part of the January 6th committee's findings. He has multiple people, all the people around him told him that he lost that election, including Bill Barr.
Of course not. Rather, Maher sees his insistence on saying that there was election rigging as a clear manifestation of his dangerous grandiosity fantasies. In addition to the several legal charges that are being brought against him, we're talking about schemes to counterfeit documents, requests made of public servants to break their oaths, and even infractions of the Georgia RICO Act. These accusations are not without merit. Rather, they are the result of Trump's overt attempts to erode the foundations of our democracy. Maher's admonitions make sense. He argues that Trump's lunacy and crazy make him an exceptionally dangerous candidate for re-election. When you take into account all the evidence, including his obsession with crowd sizes and his reluctance to accept the election results, it's hard to disagree. But what really keeps me up at night is Trump's unwavering commitment to doing whatever it takes to hang on to power. Maher describes his attempts to use the courts, state legislatures, and even the military to have the election results annulled. That is truly terrifying in addition to being ridiculous. Maher argues that despite Biden's imperfections, he is a safer choice than the crazy, stupid criminal that is Donald Trump. And to be completely honest, I agree. The very thought of Trump returning to the White House with his fragile ego and contempt for democracy makes my skin crawl. Maher unearths a stunning revelation regarding Trump's inner circle. It turned out that not even his closest allies were informing him that he had easily lost the election. Did the Donald, however, take notice? Of course not. His infatuation with "I'm always right" is terrible. When Maher asserts that Trump admitted he just couldn't face the thought of people recognizing he was a failure, he doesn't hold back. For someone whose ego is as large as Mar-a-Lago, that must be painful. Still, there's more. Some of the bizarre notions that Trump and his allies were developing are disclosed by Maher. Taking charge of voting apparatuses, deploying the military forces, frightening poor Mike Pence, they seem to be playing a game called how many laws can we break in one day? And here we were thinking that there was honor and dignity in the Oval Office. We are idiots. Maher's juicy insights shed new light on the extent Trump was willing to go to in order to hold on to his position of power. This is a full-fledged tantrum with potentially dangerous consequences, not merely a case of irritation. Maher paints a picture of a man who is not only a bitter loser, but also someone who could potentially be a threat to democracy itself. What then does this mean in terms of Trump's legal issues? Things don't seem good for the guy.
Conspiracy to commit filing false documents and filing false documents. And this is all based on the election results.
Well, there's also felony solicitation of violation of oath.
Now that a litany of accusations is piling up and his own staff are turning against him, it is getting harder for him to play the victim. Maher's conclusions, which show that Trump's actions were perhaps unlawful in addition to being poorly advised, only serve to fan the flames. Trump will undoubtedly feel the effects of Maher's bombshells as the walls close in. Will more Trump fans start crying like infants? Will the public eventually be able to see through the smoke and mirrors? It will take time to tell, but one thing is for sure. Trump's path will not be simple. What key takeaways emerged from Bill Maher's open discussion regarding the Joe Rogan experience? People, it should be pretty clear that Maher sees Trump as a triple threat: mad, stupid, and criminal. He didn't mince words when he denounced Trump's malignant narcissism as an actual mental disorder dictating his behavior. Maher reviewed the lengthy indictment against the former president, which includes charges of forging an electorate and arming Georgia officials with RICO offenses. It's the largest hit of election-stealing attempts, ranging from scaring Mike Pence to trying to use the DOJ and possibly the military as weapons, set up such that everything is thrown against the wall to see what sticks. What really got our attention, though, was Maher's claim that Trump is legitimately out of touch with reality, as seen by his refusal to concede and his repeated lies over the election. It's a major example of illusion when a guy walks about stating, "I don't want people to know I lost." Of course, the Hunter episode is a bit of a shit show, and Biden is no prize pig, but Maher argues that comparing it to Trump's offenses is like comparing apples to orange jumpsuits, and ultimately, Maher painted a very negative picture of a man who is not just a liar, but also dangerous, psychotic, and willing to do whatever it takes to maintain power. It's a gloomy perspective that highlights the gravity of the impending election and the need to hold Trump accountable for his actions. Despite everything, Maher and Rogan managed to inject some humor into the chaos. It was not all negative news then. Which scenes were the funniest and had everyone in stitches? Bill Maher made things lighthearted and hilarious during his sit-down with Joe Rogan by bringing out some of his signature wit. Among the most humorous times, no matter how horrible his lifestyle is, Maher likened Trump to a persistent city roach. The mental image alone made the entire room explode into laughter, and there was that funny bit where they compared the physical characteristics of Biden and Trump. Speaking without holding back, Maher quips that Trump is much more hardy and robust than Biden, who is skeletal thin and prone to collapse at any time. Candid tone and inflated characters had Rogan's guests giggling.
Yeah. Like he's thin, like frail. Like
Yeah.
where he looks like he's just going to fall down a lot.
No, they look better.
Yeah, they're thin and active. And
Well,
yeah,
Biden's thin.
that's
Trump
true.
is not.
But he's thin, like skeletal thin.
Absolutely.
When you're like 70, whatever years old, 78 years old.
One is 77, one is 80.
Yeah, that's
They're
the end of the line.
Yeah.
Additionally, Maher delighted in dissecting some of Trump's most ridiculous remarks, calling them stupid or crazy. The claim that stealth bombers are literally invisible? Stupid. The obsession with the number of attendees at the inauguration? Crazy town. Maher's sharp delivery and caustic tone made these gags seem plausible. Rogan even joined in on the joke, saying that because of their advanced age, both Trump and Biden could die at any minute. The shockingly honest statement about the gory details made others laugh. Hey, sometimes you have to find the irony when things are bad, don't you? Maher also made a really astute point about how Trump's continued appearance defies the typical aging process of a president. He seemed to be unaffected by the responsibility of leading the nation. Presidents often get 10 years older for each term they hold. Maher's choice of metaphors was also spot on. He said that while Trump may consume the worst things, doing so actually makes him stronger, like to a peculiar city roach that becomes unstoppable by eating garbage. Repulsive, yes. Funny, yes. In addition, the natural chemistry that exists between Maher and Rogan elevated each of these humorous moments. Their ideas back and forth produced darkly comical imagery, like these two old candidates falling on the side of the road in the middle of the campaign. The tone was bold and uncensored, just right for Rogan's readership. Bill Maher's scathing criticism of Trump is like candy for politically engaged liberals. They require it all the time. Was Trump called crazy, stupid, and a criminal by Maher? Music to their ears. Speaking as if he could read their minds, he seems to know exactly what they have been thinking all along.
Those things are crazy. Or thinking I can somehow charm Kim Jong-un in Korea, although that might be stupid. I don't even know what they are, and I don't care, and I'm going to put them next to the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, and then I'm going to fight you to take them back. But he's both stupid and crazy, and he's a criminal.
For those who dislike Trump, Maher's compilation of Trump's best hits includes claims that the crowd at his inauguration was the largest ever, or that Frederick Douglass is still alive. They are thinking, yep, that's our stable genius all right, as they nod in accord. Not to mention the controversy around the confidential materials. They see it as just another proof that the so-called very stable genius is everything but. Maher's portrayal of Trump as a malignant narcissist is like a light bulb going off for left-leaning viewers. It encapsulates everything about the person that they find so repulsive and frightening. That's what they've been saying for years, and Maher stating it so bluntly is quite pleasant. When Maher details Trump's post-election meddling, such threatening state officials, and demanding they find him votes, it's like preaching to the choir. It's a powerful denunciation of Trump's wrongdoing and contempt for the people's will for those who value democracy. One may think, lock him up. As Maher presents the indictments against Trump, which include charges of criminal solicitation and conspiracy, liberal viewers feel vindicated. Their stance has been to blame Trump for his legal issues and deny any witch hunt. Maher's lucid explanation of everything is a thrilling experience. Maher's contrast of Trump and Biden while acknowledging and contextualizing Joe's failings resonates with viewers who, although not fond of Biden in every aspect, see him as a far cry from the walking disaster that is Trump. They respect Maher's objective yet sharp viewpoint. Maher's emphasis emphasis on Trump's narcissistic personality disorder, which he attributes to his inability to concede, resonates with liberal viewers who have long held the opinion that Trump is psychologically unfit to be in public office. They're thinking, we've been saying this for years. Maher's critique of Trump's cordial behavior with autocrats like Putin resonates with leftist viewers as well, as they have long avoided Trump's close ties to authoritarian regimes. To them, it's just more proof of his poor choices and misaligned goals. Throughout, Maher's distinct sardonic tone and sense of humor make the medication easier to take. For a viewership that enjoys a little fun with their political commentary, Maher is the perfect messenger. He is expressing what needs to be said while speaking elegantly.